Yep. Okay, hi everybody. We are live here at Authentic. This is our first live broadcast, so we hope some people find us and tune in. If not, it'll be archived and we'll put it up on the website and share it on all our social networks. So if you're watching this live, thank you and welcome, and it's going to be a fun experience. If you're watching this archived, thank you as well. I'm John Colban. I'm the operations manager here at Authentic. And what we're doing is just sort of having some interviews with folks in the industry. Today we are talking with JP Ostiguy from the Alta Automotive Group. I screwed it up even after I asked you. But we're going to be talking to JP specifically about video process and video in general, and just sort of his take on the auto industry right now and stuff like that. So JP, why don't you sort of introduce yourself, and then I'd also love for people to hear your background, sort of how long have you been in the industry, how'd you get started, and sort of your role now with the Alta and Zanken groups, and sort of what are you doing?
Thanks for the intro. So I've been in the automotive industry since about 2008. I came from the marine, ATV, lawn and garden, RV world before this. Fell into the industry totally by accident because the owners I used to work with at the marina got tired and retired, and I didn't like the new direction. I basically fell into it. I walked into a dealership and they hired me, and I've been doing internet specific sales since 2002 with the marine world and everything else. And kind of just took that idea into the automotive. Found very early on that use of media and pictures and video had a better impact than words or just a static email. This is well before texting really became prevalent, before even BlackBerries. So when I found out immediately, there's a huge demand for a better experience, not just a sales part of it. And a lot of people have questions that can only be answered either in person or through showing them versus telling them. So video became a big thing. In 2010, our GM franchise lost its our franchise, and I had an opportunity to move to Toronto to work for a small ownership group at Agincourt Nissan, where I brought my ideas to Toronto and quickly established with the processes and videos and everything else as one of the top players in Canada for Nissan. My last year selling was 2013, where I delivered 417 cars alone with no help. And again, a lot of it was using video and social media and retention tools like Google and reviews and testimonials. And I was hired and prospected by a group called the Zanken Automotive Group. It's the largest group in Ontario. And I work for the Alta Group, which is the Nissan Infiniti division, and where I'm now the director of retail sales and operations. And I work with 9 dealers and work indirectly with 23, and we help them understand the internet process, the customers nowadays, the science of communication, and what the customers really are looking for. Not as much just the old sales approach, but more of a consultative selling.
Gotcha.
So that's what I have. And our Nissan Infiniti Group are the #1 volume in Canada and has the highest closing ratio for internet in Canada.
Wow. And how many individuals is that on those dealerships that you manage? How many individuals are you sort of overseeing there?
I work with, at any one time, about 80 to 100 people with management staff and support staff. That's about what I have. But when I was working directly with Zanken, I was working with about 500.
Gotcha. So that's all. So you sort of were doing all the social video stuff on your own, before it kind of became prevalent. And obviously the digital marketing is huge now. So is digital marketing sort of the main focus for you guys now, or are you still doing the sort of print and stuff? I'm curious, like where you're resources wise.
We've really gotten away from the old school guard. We still support our local papers, our communities, because that's part of it through a local paper, but we've gotten pretty much print free. We're completely digital now. We do a lot through SEO and video search optimization. We do a lot through keyword campaigns and geo-targeting and geofencing.
Gotcha. I love it.
We're quite successful doing that. We create, our average dealer gets unique leads directly from the website, not including used, about 130 new car leads a month.
Wow. That's awesome. So you guys have, just to speak about Authentic and sort of video, I believe you guys have 15 stores signed up with Authentic right now in the Zankin group.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the first ones were added 3 years ago, in March. So happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
So I just, in regards to Authentic, why did you guys decide, obviously you saw the power in video and you were doing some stuff already. Why did you decide to come on board with the Authentic service?
Well, when I was doing my own videos, sending large files to customers through email usually resulted in junk mail problems and spam problems. Canada has one of the strongest spam mail filters in the world due to its legislation. So that was not an option. Sending it through YouTube and a link through Gmail was 19 steps. And it was very time consuming, and I could get marketed against by other dealers. And I wanted to make sure that our dealers were easy to use. No one likes a lot of work. All the products out there, and there were many. This was only 4 steps. It was very cost effective. John and the Authentic staff were really easy to work with and really could understand our visions, and were willing to work with me on my vision going forward. So it was a really easy fix to going to what we were trying to do to what we are doing now, without having to, follow someone else's ideas.
Right. And is it safe to say, with your experience in the auto industry and individuals, if you're introducing new processes and new tools to people, if it's too complicated or too hard, they are more than likely going to maybe try it once and then not again?
a lot of people, we all know, we're all battling with the path of least resistance. If it takes me more than 2 things I have to do or get off my butt, chances are I'm not doing it. That's why there's, middle of the road salespeople and successful people. That's why some dealers are successful and some are not. The easier it is, the quicker it is, the more convenient it is, the more likely they will do it. You're going to lose a certain percentage of your staff, whether they complain or they just don't want to do it, or they just find it too much time, and they might miss that walk-in customer. So we made it 4 steps from, once you get comfortable with video, it takes about 5 minutes from shooting the video a couple times to make sure you get what you want, to loading it, to sending to the customer receiving it. Well, YouTube was 45 minutes. Other companies were half an hour. Some were faster, but then the cost it didn't make sense. And there was a giant renewal fee and per license fee, and it didn't work out that way. So this was a very cost effective, and the staff, when I talked to them, were very open to it, because they said, only have to do what? 3 things? Great.
Right. Awesome.
Yeah, that's the idea.
Yeah. So, the one thing that I really want to talk to you about was sort of building a successful process at the dealerships. As we mentioned earlier, you guys have been, on board with Authentic for over 3 years at 15 different stores, hundreds of different users. I talk to so many people, GMs, internet managers, GSMs, who love Authentic. We may run through a demo and they're jazzed up, they're ready to get started. They sign up. 2 months later, they call me and say, John, my guys aren't using it, so I need to cancel. I love it. You got a great product, but no one's using it.
So very, very simply, process. When I took over the dealerships and I started working with them, no one really wanted to do a video. Some people thought it was a great idea, but they didn't really want to do anything extra than they were already doing. So we made it very simple. The nice thing about Authentic, comes with an app. It can use it on Android or an Apple device really simply. So a lot of the staff liked the fact that they could immediately use your own tools. We allowed the staff to use the Wi-Fi in the store, so any data plan issues or cost would be not involved. I rewrote the sales process, which everyone signed off on, so everyone understood that they're getting themselves into this, either in or they're not going to receive the opportunities of internet leads and phone calls, not through a line and walk-in traffic.
Let me stop you right there. I think that's really interesting. So you actually recreated and basically had everyone sign off on, this is the new process. and video is a part of that?
We also, for all new hires, we rewrote the pay plans and the this job descriptions to include video. When I'm hiring, I require, at least at some point during the process, a video of the person communicating with me, because if they're not comfortable doing that, they're probably not going to be comfortable doing what I need to do. So we're really
awesome.
Going forward, we're trying to find forward-thinking people. The people who didn't want to use their phones, say it's personal property, I don't want to use it, I went and bought iPads, iPad minis for every store, so they have no excuse. If I supply them the tools, then they have no excuse to do it. I made sure that everyone had, through John and through Authentic, a video upload link through the computer, so if they didn't want to use the Wi-Fi or if they're having issues, we are able to use it right then. So I've eliminated any conversation and negativity. And if there was pushback, it's no problem. Here's what you do. You sign this, you're either in or you can sit at the front door,
right,
and enjoy my popcorn. So it was an in or out philosophy, and everyone pretty much bought in. There's been a couple people coming and going. The hardest part has been consistency. So people do it, they experiment with it, and it didn't go overly well in their first or second video, or they didn't know what to say, or we learned how to shoot a car, whether so close that I can see someone's belt buckle reflecting, or in some cases the camera's on backwards and all I get is a belt buckle talking for a minute and a half.
Right.
Once we refined our process and people started seeing the results, it almost took off. We have people who are using it religiously. I've got sales staff in 3 years that have sent over 500 videos, and have seen. These are the guys who are selling 200 and 300 cars a year now, as part of the process and part of their reputation. They're using it to brand themselves. We're in the Greater Toronto area where with Nissan, there's about 35 dealers within an hour of each other. So we have to brand ourselves. So we use that tool to really brand ourselves. And once I got the staff thinking that way and showing that they can be different, customers started responding to them better. And that's really where the process came from. The results driven.
That's
and
awesome.
when they wanted to opt out, again, we just reminded them about what they had signed. And
right. Yeah. So what I think is really interesting is, you guys sort of built this process, got the tool for your staff, and maybe you had some pushback at first, but it sounds like once people start actually using the video, then, you don't need to sort of keep pushing people, because ideally they see results from video and get comfortable and enjoy sending the videos. Their customers like it and things like that.
Yeah, and a big thing too, so we incentivize the staff a little bit even more. So because we're such a large automotive group, we have access to things like Raptors tickets and Toronto Maple Leafs games and concert events that are given to us by our vendors. And we requested our vendors to give us some swag, which I put up. We had $1,000 Leaf tickets, which were basically sitting in the executive section, fully catered for a contest that actually Authentic helped us monitor. And it was great because we had everyone winning ticket. 2 prizes given out to the winning person had the best, most engaging video. And that really, I think that month we had about 200 videos sent from 4 stores. We've had other contests where I give away an iPad, where we went to a vendor and they halved the cost of it, or an Android device, and we gave away that. We did it with where we would tie it into Google reviews and reputation. If they got the most video and Google testimonials, we would give them a weekend away. And again, the cost was nominal, a couple $100, but think of the engagement we got over that short month period. So if I can make a recommendation to anybody, incentivize your staff. I know what you're saying. Well, we already pay them enough. If they sell the car, they get incentivized. Yes, but did they sell the car and improve your CSI and your overall customer experience? It'll cost you basically nothing. You can write it off, and you can get a much more engaged and even a competitive staff. We saw people from multiple dealers. What kind of video went in? Did it win? I don't know. Like we saw a really engaged staff and really had a fun time with it.
Yeah, I love that. I love being a part of the video contest that you guys ran. It was cool to see, people sort of, again, you guys have been using video, but to see people get re-engaged and, because I got to watch pretty much all the videos, and everyone did a really good job. And hopefully if somebody maybe had been, slacking off on their videos. They remembered, oh yeah, this works really well, and I don't have to, I don't necessarily love being on camera, but I can stand behind one and talk just fine. So it helps people sort of get over that shy factor, and I love the incentives. How often do you guys do something like that? Maybe a couple times a year, or
usually since I work with basically 3 groups, Infiniti, Nissan, and Mazda. I kind of rotated it around. Sometimes they'll do a big contest if we find we have really good prize. We'll do a big contest to include all dealers. Or otherwise, I'll do it by brand or even by sector. And when people are a little uncomfortable with it, we take time with them and make sure that they're comfortable and show them the reason why. There's really no excuse. I've had some people that because they're just terrified of being on camera. So we just did it so they don't have to be on camera.
Right.
And it's funny because when people started using it and started getting more comfortable with it, the energy and the enthusiasm and the confidence came out, and then their personality came out. And what people buy from people, they don't buy from computers or technology, they buy from people. And that was the first thing. It's funny to see people walk in the showroom and have an appointment. They don't quite know who it's with, but they know what the guy looks like because the picture in the corner of the video. So the person walks by and it's like, checking out a movie star like this, trying to figure out, who is that him? We saw a lot less deals get skated by other salespeople because no, that's the guy. I saw him. He sent me the video. So even the salespeople bought in because they had less chances of it being picked up by somebody else. Yeah,
that's awesome because so skating is basically that means when you have already been talking to somebody and then they come into the showroom and another salesman sort of skates over to them and steals the deal. Is that the idea behind that?
Yeah, and then sometimes there's no malice involved. Sometimes the customer doesn't remember your name. My name is JP. We were just talking about this. People screw it up all the time.
Right.
It's just 2 letters. And so branding yourself with the video is a great thing. Where you're located, even showing the customer what to do. We've had people show a video when the customer gets there to confirm the appointment. Here's the appointment. When you come in, you're going to come here. Here's where I sit. And they walk over and they show, I'll be waving to you when you come in. That really solidifies. It gives the customer a really comfort level. As tacky as it sounds, it does work.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And then in addition to sales, I think it was maybe a year and a half ago, we set you guys up with, maybe longer now, we set you guys up with the post-sale templates, which are the review templates. And you mentioned that a little bit earlier. Would you mind just kind of telling people a little bit about that?
We know that a lot of their final decisions are made on social decisions. So their family, their friends, social media, blogs, and reviews, and other people's voices that aren't the dealership to kind of reaffirm whether it's writings or whatever else. Nothing's more powerful than having a customer live on video, on delivery, telling you why you did a good job that aren't being prompted because they're most excited on delivery. And then you can post that to YouTube. Actually, John made it really simple. Just the minute you submit the video, it'll go to YouTube. So that's available to see. We found it really fun with that. Also, if you take a video with their camera, with the customer's camera, and they message it to you, most likely they're going to put it up on Facebook and their friends will see it as well. And then you can really monitor and really interact with their friends doing that. So this is so strong. If you tie that with this really strong Google review campaign where you have your customers writing about you, you're responding to them, you'll find your visibility in the marketplace just triples. And we've seen people walk in saying, I saw the video, are you going to give me that same experience? They've come up to us and asked us. And they also, it's a personalized thank you card, which I still totally agree with. Everyone sends emails now as a phone call, which is kind of cold nowadays. Sending that one video to really thank them personally is a really big, impactful thing. Plus, it gets you a lot of referrals, and it lets the customer deal with you before they send in maybe a problem on a CSI or a customer survey that the manufacturer does. It gives you that time to maybe fix that problem so it doesn't come forward and affect you. One thing I forgot to mention, one thing I love about it, it's not only an email system, it actually can text the customer from a number that is set up generically, so you're not your privacy is not impacted. So you can be texted to a customer, and then the the customer can text back to that number that a manager can monitor and distribute. So it's a really good, impactful way, especially in today's age where customers want to be dealt with in text.
Yeah, absolutely. We make it pretty easy. And what I love about it is it sort of completes the whole social experience. You know, everybody is so social and sharing these days. You know, if you start out with a video, you know, they may share that with their husband or whoever is helping them make a purchasing decision, their wife, their sons, whoever. And then if you then end that, you know, so then they buy the car, you send them another personalized video thanking them, asking for a review, things like that. They may then share that with their friends and forward it, and obviously leave a Google review. So you kind of started with a video, end with a video, and you created a.
And even your 3 month, like no one likes that. I sold you the car. I don't talk to you until 3 months before your lease is up.
Right.
We communicate periodically with video just to say hi and check in. It's actually led to a lot more of our staff doing FaceTiming with customers, so it's live one-to-one. Because even though the app doesn't support it, it's opened their eyes into it. Video works now. If I can't get them on the phone, how can I get them in person without them being here? Now they've taken to an idea of, now I can do live video with them and everything else to really engage that customer and show them, hey, there's a scratch in the car, here it is, so on and so forth. Also, from a branding perspective, and with so much competition, if you give numbers by video, they're not walking in the dealer with 10 emails and a video going, hey, can you beat this?
Right.
They don't play the video for somebody else. So it gives us a step up in the competition.
Very cool. And then, so I love this little story. So earlier this year, and I'll let you talk about it, you were helping out at a store with following up with some leads.
So every once in a while, people tell me I don't know what I'm doing, and they get, and then, which is fine. You know, I always get asked, have I ever sold cars before? Because my theories, my ideas are kind of off the wall compared to the conventional way. And so a dealer told me the same thing. You haven't done this before. You've been removed too far. You don't understand the customers. So I said, no problem. I'll take over the leads for a week. So I removed all the sales floor off the leads that I took over. I got there, it was a Monday, got there at 8 a.m. early, started punching out videos. My first 4 videos got responses within minutes. In one case, the customer, our website, I found a problem. It wouldn't accept an out-of-province area code. The guy was in Alberta, which is about 3,000 kilometers away from us. He responded directly with a phone call to my video. We talked over the phone. We had a unique piece. He flew in the next day. I picked him up at the airport to buy it.
That's awesome.
Other used cars also had it. We had really good success with new, using it as a switch vehicle. I know you're looking at a demo, but if you got 0% on this one, it worked great. So we didn't talk much about the car as much as about who we are, what the expectations are when you arrive, why you should, like a why buy from us statement, and all within a minute. Anything over a minute, people tend to drop off. Really short, impactful things with a hard call to action was great. Out of the 12 videos I sent, 11 got watched and resulted in 9 sales in a week.
Awesome.
and a mix of new and used. It wasn't just used.
It's pretty good closing ratio. Did that, I guess everyone then realized that you do know what you're doing a little bit?
Well, the person that picked it up was not selling any cars before, and last month sold 19 online only.
That's awesome.
And using video is a huge component of that.
Awesome. Very cool. Well, I don't want to take up too much more time. So I guess to kind of put a bow on everything, like what advice would you give to somebody who gets video, they sign up, what's your advice for how to hit the ground running and stay running, again, so that you don't feel like you're wasting money, or in 2 months you take a look and see that nobody has sent out any videos.
So the one thing I can tell you, and one thing I've always believed in, is lead by example. You've got to do it yourself and believe in it yourself. A lot of dealer principals and sales managers may be uncomfortable with it. You don't grow unless you get outside your comfort zone. So you start doing it and you show them how it works. If you're willing to do it, most likely, most dealer principals I think would agree with you. When you're walking around the lot, you're picking up garbage. You expect the same thing from your staff. So if you lead by example by doing it, they'll take your lead. It's also very hard to say no to your bosses when they're doing it. Right. Write it into your process and make it fun. Incentivize them. Make it the best video. You could have contests like, I can name that tune in 3 notes kind of thing. I can get that deal in three follow-ups, and really set challenges. I set challenges to a bunch of my staff. How can we use this differently? And we got a lot of feedback. One was the service side, which we had a customer who the car was overheating. We didn't know why, an Infiniti. She finally brought it in after multiple coaxing. We opened the hood. We found about 10,000 pine cones. It was in the fall. It was a squirrel that jammed them everywhere. Wow. This is a customer we normally would have to take off a hoist, put in the back. She'd come in a week later and want it back on the hoist. So it was a huge waste of time for her and for us. We sent her a video of it. She immediately paid for it over the phone. We fixed it and picked up the car the same day. The Google reviews are always a great way. Using it for video walkarounds to load right to our site. So we're starting to experiment with that, where we use the app to load right to our website. So we can take the video, do that, experiment with it, have challenges with your staff. What can you do? Have your customers involved and really have fun with it. If you just look at it as a tool, it will probably fail. If you look at it as an opportunity and teach them about the opportunity and why, explain to them why, it will be better. I was recently watching NFL.com, and one of the coaches said, what's the difference about coaching now and 10 years ago? He said, millennials, since they take up a huge portion of our workforce, he used to be able to yell at people and they just have to do it. Now they all want to ask why. Why do I have to do it this way? Why can't I do it this way? Right. If you engage them and include them, they'll be so much more into it. And it's funny. I always thought it'd be a young person's thing. I've got a guy at Chrysler who's 69 years old, who probably sells 15 cars a month by video. Wow. And he's sold, like he's the oldest school, cranky, old school car salesman, fedora wearing guy. And he's adopted it because he sees value in it. So don't anticipate who may or may not use it. Just play with it. Give it an honest chance and just make sure you screen what you send. There's been a lot. Yeah. John, you look at a lot of videos. Yeah. A lot of stuff gets sent improperly. The customer's name, someone in the shop drops some foul language, or all you hear is an impact hammer in the background. Just make sure that you screen what you're sending, and it really helps you as a coaching moment with your staff too. So monitor your customers, monitor your staff, and help them really understand why, and have fun with it. Contest and everything else, it'll be successful. It has been for us, and I'm surprised that, and I'm thankful that John hasn't really gone on a bender and sold it to everybody, but it's a very successful product and very simple to use, which, I've been a big supporter of it since it came online.
Awesome. I love that. Yeah, I love the idea of just having fun. If you do that, it sort of all kind of flows from there. You have a good time with it. Your customers can sense and feel that on the receiving end of the video, and it makes it a fun experience. People let their personality shine through and everything like that.
There was a video that you sent me from Halifax. It was a young man at a GM store, and he was standing outside in front of some kind of truck, and he had talked to a customer they had just left. And he said, I wanted to give you some time alone with the vehicle so you can take a look at it. Please take your time. He had, what was it, Endless Love playing in the background or something like that.
Yeah, I want to know what love is.
I want to know what love is when he was doing a walk around of the vehicle. It was classic, and they came in and bought the vehicle, so good for him.
Yeah, they bought the car.
Find fun with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, JP, thank you so much for your time today. It was very valuable for me, and I know it's going to be super valuable for our customers and prospects and everybody to kind of watch this and hear from you.
Absolutely.
So we appreciate you carving out some time. And any last thoughts?
Just use it. Find alternative ways. The nice thing about it, John, he's willing to work with your dealerships. He's helped us out a lot. He's been open to my ideas. He's told me they weren't great ideas. And he gave me a lot when I asked for examples. He's been able to give that to me of other people's work and what may or may not work for us.
Awesome. Well, thank you, JP. We appreciate it. And anybody in the Toronto area, make sure you check out any of his stores with the Alta and Zankin groups.
Thanks a lot.
Yep, thank you, and thanks everyone for joining. This is something that we're going to hopefully be doing more of. So hopefully we'll get JP back at some point, and we'll get some other folks on here as well.
Perfect.
So thank you, everybody.
Thank you.